Republicans have settled on nominating their preferred candidate for the new House Speaker. It's a doozy, folks. Many people called this Representative Steve Scalise.
Along Capitol Hill, still no Speaker of the House. Republicans settled on a nominee, Majority Leader Steve Scalise, during a party meeting last night, but they have not been able to secure enough votes for Scalise to get the gavel.
Yeah, I can sort of put this forward like before anything else and just say this is a guy who described himself as David Duke without the baggage. David Duke, the Klan leader.
ABC's Liz Landers has the latest.
The House of Representatives is still without a speaker as the process drags on for more than a week and the business of the chamber has been paralyzed without a leader. Republicans did finally nominate Majority Leader Steve Scalise for the role, beating out Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan.
But otherwise he's cool, right? Yeah, otherwise he's cool.
113 to 99 votes in a secret ballot vote. Jordan now backing his brief rival.
I think it's important we come together, and I've offered to nominate Steve on the House floor.
But there are still holdouts like Representative Max Miller.
I'm still supporting Jim Jordan for Speaker. Thank you for your time.
By ABC News' count, at least 10 Republicans are not backing Scalise.
How many times do I have to answer the same question? Yes, I plan to support Kevin McCarthy. Yes.
He can only afford to lose 4 votes, or he will not reach the 217 votes needed to be elected Speaker. In the meantime, no new legislation can be introduced or passed without someone in the Speaker's chair, a fact that is holding up potential aid for Israel or Ukraine, or a government funding bill. The White House waiting on...
Yeah, we don't need the particulars. So, it's, so, Steve Scalise, you know, we cannot know the depths and details of the inner cloisters of his mind, of course. What I do know is that if you go to his Wikipedia page and you go down to other events here at the bottom, you get to learn all about the speech at a white nationalist convention. And this was before the alt-right even existed. So back then, white nationalist conventions weren't just incidental right-wing orgs that happened to be led by some guy who happened to be friends with the... No. You had to try to go and find your white nationalist orgs. Scalise was a speaker at the Convention for European American Unity and Rights Organization, or Euro, very clever, a group founded by David Duke. Who is David Duke, you might ask? We've talked about David Duke before, right? Former Grand Wizard of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Also nearly won the gubernatorial election in Louisiana, if I remember correctly. That's the kind of people Republicans are. Scalise confirmed that he had spoken at the Euro conference in 2002 and stated at the time he did not know, quote, of the racist nature of the group. Scalise said he spoke about state tax legislation and that Euro was one of the many groups I spoke to regarding this critical legislation. After Scalise's attendance at the conference was publicized in 2014, journalist Stephanie Grace alleged that Scalise had once called himself, quote, David Duke without the baggage. So we only have a journalist's word to go off of here, but I have no reason not to believe them. I'm sorry. What does that mean? David Duke without the baggage means I have the politics of David Duke, but I'm not the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Trump has endorsed Jim Jordan for House Speaker. Are you fucking kidding me? Thanks, Trump. Oh, wait. This is from October 6th. This is prior to the vote. Shut up. Though the fact that they would settle on a candidate other than the one Trump endorsed is interesting. Is Jim Jordan a better alternative? One thing at a time. So obviously what's happening here is that after Democrats, every single one of them in the House, voted to oust Kevin McCarthy, even though only a few Republicans wanted to, Republicans now have to be incredibly careful about who they nominate, because Democrats have the ability to decide who actually gets the speaker role if there is any division within the Republican House members. So if, for example, they go out there and they vote, and there's like 200 votes for one guy and 10 votes for another, Democrats are the ones who get to decide which of them actually makes it through, or none of them. So they have to be careful that there's no infighting, no division. Now, some people are saying that Steve Scalise is already cooked. What evidence is there of that? Multiple people have said this, but I haven't seen any link to indicate it. It seemed they deleted it, but here's him being cooked. Steve Scalise does not appear to have votes to become Speaker as GOP remains divided. Several GOP House members are insisting they'll still vote for Jordan on the House floor. Would Democrats want to intercede to vote for Jim Jordan, the chaos ticket? How bad is Jim Jordan, the guy who Donald Trump nominated or endorsed? Sorry, he can't be good. Democrats are voting for Hakeem right now. Sure, but Hakeem won't win unless they get a couple of Republican votes, which they won't. He covered up rape. Gotcha. Oh, this guy. Oh, this fucking guy. Yeah, this is famous. Yeah, there were coaches. This is the pedo defender. Yeah, the pedophile enabler. The coaches were sexually abusing the children, and he was like, well, university, I guess, not children necessarily, right? How old were they? Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's sexual abuse anyway. And he like enabled it. That's right. Man, isn't it great like looking through Republican politicians? Like if you look through Democrat politicians, it's like, oh, this person was like a community organizer. This guy was like a local business entrepreneur before he got into politics. And then you look in Republicans and it's like, okay, so this is the guy who was friends with David Duke. This is the pedo. This is the guy who enabled the rape of children. Wasn't it a middle school? Oh, was it? Why do Americans vote for the worst kind of people? No, it's Republicans. Please. Again, I do not buy the both sides bullshit, okay? The Republicans as an institution are evil. The voters may be at their best deluded, but they vote evil people in. You have to be evil to be a Republican. You don't get to be evil otherwise. Or sorry, you don't get to be a Republican otherwise. You have to be evil. More Scalise being cooked, MTG not looking to vote for him.
Pressure happening, you know, real, this is the truth, is when you're in a tight game and there's a lot of pressure happening, you don't put an injured player or a sick player on the field. That's not the right thing to do for that player, and it's not the right thing to do for the team. And Steve Scalise's district elected him, and if we elect a speaker, not his staff. And that's the reality, and I think that's very important. It's hard to talk about, but it's an...
Remember, Scalise has cancer? Is that true? I didn't know that. Oh, late August this year, he announced he had been diagnosed with multiple myeloma. He said the cancer was detected early and very treatable. Oh, he's probably fine. Keep in mind, he has the best healthcare in the world.
An important reality. And I say that as a person that am concerned about the President of the United States probably having dementia. I say that concerned about an 80-year-old Democrat leader in the Senate. I say that concerned about the Republican minority leader in the Senate that looks like he has many strokes on camera. I say that about any office holder. They need to be at their best and they need to be at their strongest. And I say that in the greatest respect for Steve Scalise.
All right, well, I guess they're not going to be able to cobble the votes together. We'll see. Scalise is done. Trump openly says not to go with him. This better not be an old link. Okay, it's not old. Donald Trump joins MTG in attacking Steve Scalise, saying his diagnosis makes him unfit to be speaker. Okay, unless they know something that I don't, it doesn't seem like there's any reason to believe that his cancer is that concerning. But okay. So whatever. If Donald Trump is continuing the attack, then I doubt this guy is going to be. Jordan and Scalise both voted to overturn the 2020 election. Yes, there are no moderate Republicans that are on the field right now. I guess we'll see. It might yet be a while before there's any like real Republican success in putting forward a candidate to vote on. I don't know. What's the probability of McCarthy making a comeback? Zero. None. Nil. Word on the street here in D.C. is that GOP is working with Dems to get Jeffries elected. Bullshit. There's no way. There's no way they'd be able to get the, 6 votes necessary? No way. I mean, that'd be cool. That'd make a lot of people really angry. I think it's only 5. Is it 5? I forget the exact. Yeah, it might be 5. That would be pretty fun. 5 and they already have 1. Who's the 1? Who is the Republican who has said that they would be willing to vote for Hakeem Jeffries? Me? One guy. I think they screwed up so bad Hakeem Jeffries has a chance out of desperation. That would be like a protest vote from some Republicans. There's a vacancy, so only 217 needed right now. Given that the vote for Speaker was supposed to be yesterday, it seems much more realistic for 5 Republican members in Biden districts to vote Jeffries than it is for Mr. quote David Duke without the baggage end quote to flip 107 people in overtime. Okay, so Scalise is probably completely cooked, which is good. I don't want David Duke without the baggage to be House Speaker. I don't want that, you know? So who's up next? I really do not think they're going to get 5 flips. Okay, to be clear, any House Republican that votes for Hakeem Jeffries is going to be placed at the top of the list of every fucking would-be shooter and manifesto writer in this country. Okay? If they publicly cast a vote for Hakeem Jeffries, 1,000 men in their fucking prepper bunkers are going to be scribbling their name out in ink at the top of their list. How much do you think Dems would try to concede to get votes for Jeffries? I don't think that Dems are going to concede it at all. I think it would make the Dems look kind of weak to try to concede anything for that. I think that in all likelihood, it's just something they're crossing their fingers for. See if there are enough chaos candidates. If Schwarzenegger still does identify as Republican, is it complacency, ignorance, or stubbornness? Probably stubbornness. The Schwarzenegger hasn't done like anything in line with the interests of the Republican Party for many years. Every time Arnold Schwarzenegger says anything publicly, like he said stuff with regards to like the Ukraine war, like the importance of defending Ukraine. He talked about like how bad the Nazis are. Like every time he speaks, he says something that Democrats would want him to say. Like, you know, I'm not saying he's like a perfect progressive or whatever. I'm just saying if you were to like assign his political allegiance right now, today, he would be a Democrat. You know, he's tough to go after. Pro-vaccine as well. Jesus, SDL. Did you just make this? This is rough. Another citizen of Innsmouth, you know?
We don't take kindly to strangers around here.